Welcome back to Golf Business Live with Michael Williams. That's me, your host here live at the PGA Show in Orlando, Florida. There's a lot that's good about golf, but there are some things that are good with a capital G. And I came from a family of veterans. I did not serve myself. My father was a veteran. My mom is a military wife, and I am proud to say that they are both in Arlington National, which I consider to be this nation's Hall of Fame. So I will do anything for and am supportive of anything that is in favor of the veterans, the people who serve so generously, give so much of themselves for us. And that's why I'm so pleased to have our next guest, the guy who is helping so many people to get on with their lives after they've sacrificed so much for us. Please welcome Chris Nowak of PGA HOPE. Chris.
Thank you. Love the hat, #legs. I don't know if that's just for me or something else, but I find it very, very appropriate for this conversation. Well done. Well done. I'll probably take that hat when I leave.
You know what? We'll probably get like an Emmy for that. That's award-winning stuff right there.
I mean, I thought you set it up. I mean,
I wish I was that good.
Yeah.
We'll do it next time.
Pretty good though.
I wish I was. How you doing? Look at you, man.
Doing good. You know,
ever-expanding planet.
Yeah. It's just golf is the thing, man. We're killing it at PGA HOPE. You know, for those who don't know, HOPE is helping our patriots everywhere. It is the military foundation of PGA of America, and we take a different approach to golf with PGA of America and the PGA HOPE program. We're not using it to raise money. We're using it to heal veterans. We have what we call a memorandum of understanding with the Department of Veterans Affairs that recognizes our 6-week curriculum as a therapeutic intervention for a veteran who's in the recovery process, whether it's limb loss, PTSD, spinal cord, anything that the veteran is dealing with can be benefited by playing the game of golf. We realize in the 6 weeks, it's a curriculum. We start with the grip and go all the way up in the last week. And we realize we're not going to make any PGA professionals. We realize that. But what we do realize is that if we can teach the veteran the game of golf, getting him to be singular focused, not thinking about the trauma they've experienced, the trauma that they're dealing with day to day, trying to get back into family life, trying to get back into a normal routine, and just clear their mind and strike that golf ball. That's what we call a moment in time. So if a veteran goes out and shoots 118, that's 118 moments in time during that day that veteran's not dealing with trauma or re-experiencing it and just having that single thought. And like life is golf. Another thing we're teaching them is you got to forget about that bad shot, and you got to forget about that bad day, and just move forward. We will put 17,000 veterans through a 6-week program this year.
17,000 just this year alone.
Just this year alone, and we have 500 programs across the country. We are now in every state. This will be our first year, 2024, that we are actually in every state in the United States.
Every single statistic that you give me just gives me goosebumps. And what I want to do, Chris, is go back a little bit and talk about, because you talk about 118 moments, there's another moment which is just getting out of the door. You know, that moment of being out and with people, right?
You're exactly right. And I think the part of our growth success is that veterans are finding this as an environment where they can go and be with like-minded people who have served, have some similar experiences. And we're seeing it with the Vietnam veterans all the way down to the young active duty that we serve now. They, no matter what conflict, no matter where they were, they have a commonality. They have a common bond. They have something that they both can learn from each other. So yeah, for just getting out of the door, that's what this is. I mean, it's really not about golf. You know, don't tell PGA of America that. I still need to get paid. So, you know, but yeah. It's really not about golf. It's really not. You know, it's about some like-minded cats getting together, hanging out, and learning the game of golf, but just being together.
To use it as a healing process, I think is what you said, and I couldn't agree with that more. I'd like to take a minute to explore what people are being saved from and talk a little bit about the level of trauma that people are in and the level of even, you know, sadly people taking their own lives.
You know, unfortunately, suicide rate's back up. It's going back up, and the average age, I believe, now is 38 with the suicide rate. I think a lot of people have, different experiences and deal with trauma differently. But it's something that you just don't forget. You have reminders and you have that. But I'm telling you, this game of golf, I've done it all in my career. I worked for the Department of Veterans Affairs. I've run the adaptive sports for the entire country for the VA. 2 Paralympic national teams. Ice hockey, stand-up. We played ice hockey, stand-up amputee ice hockey, as well as powerlifting, Paralympic powerlifting. Nothing does what golf does mentally. Everything else is aggression, anger. Trust me, I was not a good ice skater, but for those 54 seconds on that ice, I was hitting somebody, and I was hitting somebody, And powerlifting is all aggression and stuff like that, where golf is truly therapeutic, and I just think it's. You just see it with people, just going out and interacting with each other. I mean, really quick, we've all been there. If you get paired up with somebody by hole number 2, you know whether or not they're an ass clown or not. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, shit, And if it's a place you play, you go back and you're like, yo, my man, what's up? That type of thing.
So we mentioned the PGA. PGA is helping with this and bringing the professionals that are providing the training. Is there a training program for them? Do they have to learn how to? They're not coming in just cold.
Great question. Wow. Yeah. It's impressive, man. Did some homework or something.
Might be some good at this thing one day.
He might be. All right. Let me know. So, great question. Is there training? Yes. So part of our requirements with the Department of Veterans Affairs is that you have to be a PGA member in good standing, i.e. dues paid, not wanted for any crazy crimes or anything else like that. And B is you have to attend a one-day specific training to be involved and teach PGA HOPE. And with that is, we're not trying to change your philosophy of teaching, not trying to change anything. Half of that day we talk about military culture. We talk about things you may hear that veterans that we say to each other that you probably wouldn't say to your worst enemy, but I can say it and they can say it, and we just know that's how we communicate. That's our brotherhood and sisterhood. That's how we get along. And we also spend time trying to teach the PGA professional about understanding PTSD, how veterans, some have different triggers, things to look out for. And as we all know, sometimes golf professionals are very handsy. They'll come up and put your hands here, You got a cat that's feeling some PTSD that day, you might end up with that 5-iron up wrapped around your head. You come grab his hands. You know what I mean?
Right. That's real.
Yeah, it is. And so we spend time like that, and we sit and talk to the professionals. And what we do now with the program being so large, we're able to have a PGA, what we call a HOPE ambassador. A veteran has been specifically trained, public speaking, social media, been to some, recognizing mental health classes and stuff like that. Attend these trainings to talk to the professionals. I call it the golf bubble. It's a beautiful bubble. I'm glad I'm somewhat inside of it now. And it's unique. It's beautiful. It's unique. Kind-hearted people, just giving. And you have a veteran population. We can be rough, And so I try to make sure that the PGA professional has just some understanding, some, basic knowledge. Like, all right, you're going to hear jackwag. You're going to hear ass clown. You're going to hear phrases like that. And it's okay. That's just how we communicate.
How do you go about getting people into the program? Because if somebody is reluctant or feeling...
Right. Great question. How do we get veterans involved? Unfortunately, we have a 13,000 veteran wait list.
How many?
13. We get 6 inquiries every day at a minimum of requesting a program. And so that's why we're here this year, to really push the PGA professional, get them involved. We signed up 100, and as when I last left the booth over at 700, I think it is my plug for the day. I think we have 150 PGA professionals who signed up to get involved in HOPE this week. So we're
new professionals this week.
New professionals this week. Yeah. So you got to realize with our 5-to-1 ratio, that's no math here, wizard here. That's over 500. 500 veterans. We're gonna, have the potential to impact. But yeah, we have a huge wait list. So we're fortunate. A lot of nonprofits and a lot of people that are in the veteran space, that's their problem. How do we get veterans involved? How do I get veterans to come to my veterans? We got, just as you got a good sniffer on when someone's a scratch golfer and someone's bullshitting you on their handicap when you're playing, we have a sniffer too. We can sniff out good programs. People are doing things for the right reason, and we've created an environment that the veteran feels comfortable. It's safe. They're getting great instruction. They're getting a life skill set. They're getting out of the house. So we don't have that problem. Our problem is we got to get more pros trained.
And if I understand it right, you're actually compensating the PGA professional for this time.
Yes, we are. We pay the PGA when they go to the training. They get their continuing education points for that, and they do the one-day training. Then we also compensate the member. We pay the member $100 an hour to teach. So if it's a 2-hour class every Tuesday night for 6 weeks, buying some lunch money, and the head pro that runs it gets a larger stipend for doing the administrative stuff. We reimburse the golf courses. We reimburse them for range time, balls, F&B. We try to have an outing there to support, and that's it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win-win. What I actually call it, I'll probably get in trouble saying, I call it the greatest money laundering scam there ever is.
Yeah, you're gonna get in trouble.
I know. All right. So follow me this out. So
Affirmative.
We raise money, and then we give it to our members. That's pretty good, isn't it? I mean, hey, it's brilliant.
So how can I become a PGA professional? Yeah. How does the program get administered? If a pro is looking to say, yeah, I want to do this,
right?
How do they do that?
So we've been very, very fortunate. This young lady came aboard, I think 3 years ago. They realized me doing this with crayons and Excel spreadsheet wasn't working. Need somebody that can more administrative and very, very have a little more nonprofit experience. She's created all sorts of websites. We have now, PGAHOPE.com. All these different things. We've taken it to that level where we also probably get 1 to 2 inquiries a day now from PGA professionals that want to get trained.
Okay, so you're getting a lot more demand.
Yeah, we really are. And I think a lot of credit that goes, like yourself, you had me on here 2 years ago. We were thinking we might serve 1,100 that year. And that's just how much growth and having this opportunity to talk about what we're doing.
It's been an amazing growth pattern. And for you personally, I mean, this is a lot of work for you. It's a lot, man. You're doing a lot. What keeps you going personally?
Steady diet of Miller Lite, I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of when I came in and saw that little bar, I was like, oh shit, might be able to get a beer. No.
We got time.
Yeah. It's, for me, it's just, I've always, not to get too crazy, I've always wondered my why. Why didn't I die that day? Why? It has to be something. I mean, trust me. It definitely wasn't my high school academics. I was a simple Marine, grunt infantry in the Marine Corps. Wasn't setting the world on fire. It took me 6 years to become an E4. If you know anything about the military, it's not a stellar career. I was not overly advancing quickly in the military either, but there had to be a reason why I lived. So I chased my why. That's my energy. I love what I do. It's golf. I'm always going someplace nice. I mean, think about where they send me. Oh, Chris, you're going to Arizona. You're gonna play Whisper Rock. Okay. Geez, threaten me with a good time.
I mean, it's and how big of a team do you have, like working with you?
Wow, I think there's probably about 8 to 10 in the office now. And when this first started, it was me and Scott Kimmett again.
I know.
Yeah. Well, here I am with crayons trying to get stuff done, and me and him are arguing every day about stuff, and it was great. I miss him to this day. But yeah, we got some good leadership now, and it's great to see PGA. I mean, that was my biggest argument for 7 years now, beating on the drum. You got to let people know that this is your military foundation, not some other organization, and they've done very well.
Because there are a lot of them out there, and so that it's important that we distinguish what you do. I mean, you may do about that, but the fact is that you are doing something very different and very specific.
We really, really are. There's great organizations out there raising money for veterans using the game of golf. God bless them. I'm happy they're doing it. But nobody out there, has a memorandum of understanding with the Department of Veterans Affairs. No, not even any other governing body, the NBA, and none of those. And they're all doing stuff for veterans. But we are the PGA of America is the only one that has a memorandum of understanding. You got to be a PGA professional, and it just works. It really does.
What's your goal for this year, the next year, and beyond? What do you want to do besides obviously affect more lives? Right.
We're almost close to all my goals. So I think it's you know, we're in every state now. We finally have our online store, so veterans and professionals can buy stuff. Got one or two more things I'm really looking at, and hopefully, you know, 25 is going to be a big year for PGA of America. It's going to be a big year for golf. Maybe, just maybe, there'll be a military component to all that, where, you know, you maybe have a United States team take on a European team. You know, you never know, a veteran. So that's, you know, that would probably be it for me. That's it.
And again, the fundraising is corporate sponsors.
Sponsors, you know.
Individual sponsors. Can I send it?
Yeah, PGAHOPE.com. You got a thing like every other website. Donate, you know, flashes in front of you, you know, that whole thing. It's annoying as shit, but it works, I guess. But, you know, the website's there, you know, and just like this, you know, people, and this, I'm a firm believer in this, and people are probably, after me saying it for over 6 years now, it takes a nation to heal a veteran. The VA can't do it. Department of Defense can't do it. You know, PGA of America lean in. You spend the time right now. It's part of the healing process. There's a veteran out there that may listen to this. You know, we kind of
feel like you're still healing.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is therapy for me. It is. You know, questioning my why. When you go to an event and you have, you know, see a veteran, you know, pull you aside and say, hey, Nowak, can I talk to you for a second? I'm like, yeah. Oh my gosh, shit. Didn't get the right size shirt or something, you know, it's going to be something crazy like that, you know. And he goes, I just want you to know, you know, I was sitting on my couch, I saw your commercial during the PGA Championship, you know, and I was getting ready to go. I was getting ready to check out, but that commercial and seeing you talk about saved my life. So those are the whys, and it happens a lot when I travel and I'm out doing things. So that keeps me going. And again, don't forget Miller Lite. I'll just, you know, at some point, I'm going to get a sponsor, because I mentioned them in every talk I do for the last 7 years. You would think somebody would be knocking on the door.
You would think so.
I know. I mean, just my stock alone that I buy.
Are you throwing a pizza or something, too?
Don't let food get in the way of beer. I only got room for so much down there, big guy.
You said the name and where to go a couple of times for information or to make a contribution, to be a pro. Oh, and we were talking to the Golf Course Owners Association. Can the golf course owners call and dedicate time and their resources directly?
Yeah, actually, this year, it's probably the reason they didn't invite me to that presentation, but Brandy, the lead, she got to go and present to the Golf Owners Association, and they're part of the healing process too, is we need facilities to host these at, you know, and so what we tried, you know, I spent time with her, like, and what we tried to tell the owners is, this is going to benefit you. You know, we're going to, obviously pay for what we're using, but veterans like to buy shit. If it's got a logo on it and they have been there, they're buying it. So, you know, you're going to sell some shirts, you're going to sell some hats, and I think your members will say, how do I get involved? Why aren't we doing more of this? You know, and it works. It really, and it's the game of golf. It really is. I'm a firm believer, hands down, it's the game of golf, the people in the golf industry, and what golf does.
It's the secret sauce of this game and this business, this industry, this life, is that it can affect people so deeply, so completely. And when you talk about healing, there is really nothing better. Again, PGAHOPE.com.
I hope.
I hope it's still working. That website should be still working after this interview.
Google. You'll find it.
You'll find it. Chris, thank you so much, man. Thank you for all that you do. You know, you need it. You know,
I know.
Anytime.
Anytime.
Operators are standing by.
Sounds good.
Make the call. Chris Nowak.
Thank you.
Chris Nowak. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Golf Business Live with Michael Williams, powered by the NGCOA. The organization for golf course owners helps them do the thing that they do best, which is make that game available to us. I couldn't be more happy to be here live at the PGA Show 2024 in Orlando, Florida. It's been an awesome show. Everybody knows the show now is such a compressed experience, so much going on. But we are very, very fortunate to have some very great guests today. The first of which is someone who I've come to know quite well because they have given me the opportunity to experience what I think is, unarguably, the finest travel experience in the world. She's the Executive Vice President for North America for Tourism Ireland. Please welcome Alison Metcalfe. Alison, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Michael. Great to be here at this wonderful show.
It really is something. I mean, how many of these have you been to, by the way?
Probably too many to count, but I've certainly been to about 10 of these shows, and I would say that this year is bigger and better, and probably one of the best shows, I'd say. It's great to see the show has come back to, I think it's even bigger than pre-COVID, to see there's like, I think over 1,000 exhibitors, more than 30,000 PGA pros, and anybody that's anybody in the golf industry is here. So for us, as Tourism Ireland on the Golf Island stand, it has been a fantastic show. Busy show, lots of interest, but I think it's a great show. And it kicks off the year really well for us.
It does kick off the year, and we used to call it golf's major. I don't know if it is the major of business golf, and it's so hard even to walk down the halls because there's so many people that you haven't seen, people that you've wanted to meet, people you're seeing again. It's really kind of that same feeling as Ireland, is that it's about the people here, isn't it?
It really is about the people, and I think we did a lot during COVID on Zoom and virtual meetings, but nothing can beat personal connections, and I think so it's a great opportunity to renew those existing relationships, but also to make new relationships, and to we're here to showcase the very best of what Ireland has to offer, and we've got 35 companies with us, so it's just fantastic from our perspective to be working with them, and for them in turn to get to meet new buyers, new PGA pros, and to just win more business. So it's fantastic. Nothing, as you say, beats meeting face to face.
Well, let's dive right into it about the business of golf and the business of golf tourism, because, as you know, we've all seen the statistics, how many new golfers are coming to the game, and each new golfer is a potential new traveling golfer. As you look at the show this year, is that something that's impacting your business, and where are you directing focus towards getting that first-time golfer and turning them into a traveler and then getting them to Ireland?
Well, I think Ireland is already quite a well-known, quite popular golfing destination. I think certainly for us here in North America, it is the links golf that really is the draw. But Tourism Ireland promotes the island of Ireland internationally, and I have the pleasure of doing that here in North America with a great team. And golf is a part of that business. It's a really important part of that business, because our goal is to increase the value of tourism. Our focus is on driving revenue, and golfers are high spenders, particularly those that travel internationally. So we're here to attract first-time golfers for sure, who are typically looking to play a lot of the signature courses, but we're also here to attract repeat golfers as well, golfers that want to explore a different region of Ireland, want to perhaps play some of the hidden gems, some of those other links courses, and to update them on what's new. And I think with golfers, certainly links golfers, I think we tend to alternate between Ireland and Scotland, and we're obviously here to try and attract as many as possible to Ireland, whether it's the first time, second time, or third time. I think there's enough to bring people back both on and off the golf course.
Well, if there's anything I know about you, is that you're humble, but I want to talk about you a little bit and how you got started in tourism, and sort of your arc into that whole business, and how golf has impacted your career in that sense.
I started I've always been in what I call the destination marketing business. I did a history degree. My father said you're qualified for everything and nothing, and a lot of my friends went into accountancy and law and other things. And I decided I wanted to travel. I was interested in marketing, so I did a master's in management for the tourism and hospitality sector. I got great exposure to different aspects of the business, hotels, airlines, tour operators, destination marketing organizations, and I ended up starting as a graduate trainee. I worked for Visit Britain, I worked for Tourism Northern Ireland, I worked for Tourism Ireland now, I've worked in the UK, Europe, North America. So I've always been fascinated by the fact in the destination marketing business, you get such variety. You're not selling one product, you're selling a destination. And within that, you have incredible experiences and incredible opportunities to work with partners. And our job is to act as that catalyst to bring buyers and sellers together, but also to inspire people in terms of brand marketing, to inspire them in this case to want to visit Ireland. And golf is a big part of that. I started playing golf probably about in my 30s, and I find it really useful just from a business perspective. I would get it, and particularly when I started working in Irish tourism, I got tons of invitations to come out and play on the golf course. So I figured if I'm going to go out, I should take a few more lessons just so I could hold my own. And I think it's a very obviously social game, but I found it useful because often you get to connect with people that would never come into your office for a meeting, but you get to spend 4 hours with them on the golf course and build those relationships, and from that comes useful relationships from a business perspective. So I love the game. I'd love to play more. I'd love to get a lot better. Don't have the time, but I just love the golf business itself, and I think it's a great game, and certainly enjoy being here at the show promoting golf. And the golf, as I said, is part of what we do, but a really important part of what we do.
And again, I said it at the top, and I stand by the statement that Irish tourism, as far as golf is concerned, has really, really set itself apart in terms of the efficiency, the attraction, the desire. I mean, that pent-up desire. Everybody has a bucket list of courses they want to play in Ireland. Everybody does. But it hasn't always been the case. Can you track for me the history of how that happened? I'm really interested to know how Ireland golf became Ireland golf.
Well, I think we've always had signature courses. I mean, many of our best courses are very historic courses, and I think over the last probably 20 plus years, I think we've been fortunate to have some great Irish golfers out on tour who have won. Everybody from Darren Clark, Rory Carrington, Rory McIlroy, the newcomers like Seamus Power and Shane Lowry, and I think they have been great ambassadors for talking about the island of Ireland and where they honed their skills. There's also been incredible investment in the product as well, in the golf courses, in terms of bringing in a lot of well-known international designers to revamp and courses. We've also got new courses, invest in the experience on the course, and invest in the clubhouses and the general experience for visitors. And I think golf ultimately in Ireland is a very inclusive sport. A lot of people grow up playing golf. It's not an elitist sport. Schoolgirls and boys who want to play golf, it's easy, it's accessible. So I think over the years there's just been investment and a recognition that we actually have something to offer. And I think what we've done very well is, as an industry, we've come together as Team Ireland to promote sort of that brand Ireland and golf in Ireland. And I think that's what we do extremely well. And and I really sort of hand it to the partners, because they all work together, and if there's a piece of business they can't handle, they refer it to others. But everybody is really working under the same banner. So we have a very strong brand Ireland, and under that you've got golf in Ireland. So there's been a real commitment and investment in developing those experiences, and recognising the value, the economic value that international golfers can bring to Ireland, and indeed tourism, because tourism is the number one employer in Ireland, so it's very high up the economic agenda.
So the idea of that teamwork kind of fascinates me, because again, we're sitting here under the banner of the Golf Course Owners Association, which by definition is people working together to achieve a common goal. And it seems as though you did that without necessarily having to. There was just a recognition that there needed to be teamwork with that, especially because the competition is so close. If you have been there, when you go to Ireland, I mean, there are courses everywhere. So the competition is quite strong, but the drive to cooperate is quite strong too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think also, there's a recognition that everybody needs to work together, but also to attract international visitors, we need to have the fundamentals in place. We've got great golf, but then we need great accommodation, or we need accommodation options. We need to make sure all of the other fundamentals are there. So that investment has certainly been there. So I think that in itself has been really sort of important. And ultimately, you've got to sell the destination first. It's Ireland first, and then Ireland wide for golf.
Okay, so you're reading my mind here. I was going to ask a little bit of a more. You expand the experience. It's not just golf. It's Ireland written large. So.
It is, yeah, no, it is, and I think certainly when you're marketing any product at any destination, but I think certainly when you're in a long haul market like North America, it's Ireland first, and then so why Ireland? So we want to inspire people as to what Ireland can offer, whether it's history, heritage, scenery, the great outdoors, the food. It needs to be easy to get to, and that's another reason why we've seen significant growth in our business, not just the golf business, but also in our general leisure tourism businesses that we have great air access, and we've been working very hard to sort of improve that air access. 18 gateways, direct flights from 18 gateways this year. So I think that it's Brand Island first, and then from there, I think if people feel there's enough to do, they will then put a destination on their consideration set. Our goal is inspire them first, and then you want to encourage people we want people to go away wanting to find out more, whether it's about golf, whether it's about cultural tours, food tours, whatever it happens to be. And depending upon who's traveling, if it's it's couples, families, if it's guys playing golf, that's often very easier. But if you're traveling as a family or multi-generational travel, people need to feel there's enough to do. So if we can get Ireland out there first and foremost, cut through, because it's a very competitive environment out there. Every destination is competing for that vacation dollar, that discretionary dollar. So we want it to be Ireland. So we're not complacent, and I think we work very hard at it, and I think we have to work harder than some destinations. We're a small destination, and in many ways we punch above our weight. But it is all about the brand first, and having that consistent, brand awareness out in front of our target audiences.
Yeah, I mentioned the bucket list before, talking about Ireland. Everybody talks about the bucket list courses, but with Ireland, what I found is when you're talking about Irish golf, you're going to either need a bigger bucket or another bucket, because there's just so much to see, so much wonderful stuff. So I know we have people who make that once in a lifetime trip, but I think with the things that I've heard about the industry of travel and destination travel, people are spending more on experiences now, and they're saying maybe that transfer of wealth isn't going to be such a great transfer because they're going to go do these things. You see people coming for a second and third time to Ireland.
Absolutely, and I think we've seen that in the post-pandemic recovery. I mean, the recovery in terms of outbound tourism from the US to Europe and specifically to Ireland has been really strong. What we've seen certainly in Ireland is that American travelers are spending more and they're staying longer. They want to purchase more experiences. They want to immerse themselves in a destination. They want to participate in the destination. They don't just want to have a passive vacation. So they want to learn something, want to try something new. So that's a very, I think a very positive thing. The other thing I think people are looking for, they want those customized personal experiences. They want to feel that the experience they have is unique to them. And again, Ireland as a destination can certainly make that happen very easily. And also I think it's the people. I mean, at the end of the day, the people are the make the connection between all these great experiences. And I think people expect to see great things and do great things wherever they travel in the world. But very often it is the people they meet that make the difference, and when you come back, it's those stories you heard, it's those memories that you take with you for a lifetime. So I think that's really, really important. And the other piece that we've seen is that people are prioritizing expenditure on travel. So we've obviously had some economic challenges over the last couple of years. The premium market, that luxury market, the golf market has been pretty resilient. Doesn't seem to have been impacted, certainly as far as Ireland is concerned. But even for that, the mid-market traveller, whom we attract and welcome a lot of visitors, people are prioritising travel, expenditure on travel and experiences. That whole experience economy is coming through. I think they're prioritising spending on experiences over stuff. And they've, renovating their bathrooms, kitchens, buying more furniture for the garden. They did all that during COVID, and they want to spend time with their friends and family, and travel is a great way to do that.
Oh, absolutely, no better place to do that. A little bit of brass tacks about travel and planning a trip. Is there an average time, a recommended time for a trip? A certain region to spend in? Should you try to go north to south? Should you try to do everything you can in one place? Are there official recommendations from Irish tourism? Do you have plans laid out, or how do you go to get that kind of? Where do you go to get that kind of help?
Well, a good starting point is Ireland.com. That is our website. So, as the destination marketing organizer, we don't sell anything, but we give you impartial advice. There's lots of trip planning tools and things on there. I think for golfers, I would say it's an ideal planning time if you can plan as far out as possible. For golfers, because if you want to play the signature courses and you want to get those tee times on Royal County Down or Royal Portrush or Ballybun, you need to book in advance so you're not disappointed. I would also suggest for a lot of golfers use a specialised tour operator as well, because they can make your life very easy. They can take the hassle out of things, and it's turnkey, so they'll organise the tee times, the accommodation, the transportation. So I would certainly book as far in advance as you can if you want those signature courses. But you can for regular leisure travel, the average trip planning time is about sort of 90 days out, but you should book further out for a golf trip.
Well, some of those like as much as a year or even more.
Absolutely. I mean, people are booking for 2025, and for some of the signature courses, I mean, talking to the colleagues from Royal Portrush, for example, they open up their tee times for 2025 in March, this March. So, and again, because Ireland will be hosting a number of major events over the next couple of years, particularly next year, Royal Portrush will host the 153rd Open Championship. It's really huge interest.
Yeah.
The world's eyes are going to be on Ireland, Ryder Cup in 27. So if you want to go and you want to get those prime tee times, book as far in advance as possible. But tour operators can really help with that because they have lots of the times.
Gotcha. And I would say some of the average times, do people spend generally 5 days, 5 nights, 7 nights, more? What's a typical?
The average length of stay is 8 or 9 nights. For golfers, I think it's typically about a week. But certainly you can go for 5 days, and particularly if you're coming from the East Coast, and you think the flight from anywhere from the US East Coast is 5 or 6 hours. That's all 5 hours. So you can be in Ireland quicker than you can be on the west coast of the US.
Yeah.
Way more braggable.
Especially if you have luggage and you don't want to get lost in Denver.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would also say don't try and do too much. Don't try and pack too much in. Sometimes there's a misconception that Ireland looks like a small country.
Yeah.
It's small compared to the US, but you want to get off the beaten track. You don't want to be traveling on highways everywhere. So if you're a golfer, I would say take in a couple of regions because you have nice clusters of courses. You could be Northern Ireland to the northwest, or you could certainly be you could do the southwest and move up to Midwest and up into Donegal. You could do Dublin and Belfast as well. There's great, you can base yourself in the cities, and within an hour you've got some fantastic golf courses. So depending upon what you're looking for, but don't overdo it because there's a lot of great things to do off the golf course as well.
And it's funny that you say that because I know a few guys who are playing trips, and it's 8, 12 guys who go and playing 36 holes a day, go out to the pub at night, and by the 4th or 5th day, I mean, there's a casualty list. Like they're not all going to make it. Somebody's going down. So it is smart to plan sort of like a day off in between there where there's no golf, but there's still plenty to do.
Absolutely. Or you might have a sort of travel day if you might play 18 holes as opposed to 36. There's lots of things to do in terms of sightseeing, in terms of the Cliffs of Moher or the Giant's Causeway, or you might want to do a city tour, depending upon what the itinerary is. There's loads of things to do. So I would just don't over-program. But for the guys that do want to do 36 holes a day, that's absolutely fine. We welcome that, and it's easy to do because the golf courses are within close proximity of each other.
Right. As I say, not anything wrong with it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Again, that kind of strength is left me for a younger man. I get to the 36 a day, 4 days in a row anymore. That's you, Harry. That's your thing. That's your thing. And we're talking about the people, the familiarity, but we haven't talked, I think, enough about that because, honestly, you can go to Ireland for the first time and feel more at home there than you would go into some parts of the States. You feel like so naturally a part of it. I know that one time I was there in a pub the first time that I went, and they were singing this old song, Rattling Bog. So I learned that song in kindergarten, and I started singing this song out loud, and like the whole bar turns around like, who's this guy, and why does he know this song? And then we all start singing together, and then buying the beers and the whole thing. It's so warm and so friendly, and some places they have to be taught how to do that, but it just seems so natural.
Yeah, I think so, and certainly that's what everybody says, and that's what we believe. Is really special about a visit to Ireland. I always like to say, we don't just like Americans, we love Americans when they travel, and whether you're in a bar or wherever you are, we're always keen to sort of engage, and certainly if you've played your golf, you're coming into the clubhouse, we want to know how did you find the course, how did you get on, where are you from. And also, people are always very keen to give you tips on where you're going next. You must stop here. You must go there. And I think that's the appeal of a destination like Ireland. It's fairly small. in terms of, there's people know each other and they want to make sure you have a great time. I think there's an element of we're a little bit nosy as well, so we want to know, what you think, and I've heard a lot of stories, and even on the stand just over the last day or two, people saying, "Oh, the owner of the bar, or the owner of the golf course, or the owner of the hotel came out and met us and had a Guinness with us." Yes, those things happen in Ireland, and it's all very low key and very, there's no fuss.
It's natural.
Yeah,
it just comes natural to you. You mentioned a couple of the big events that are coming with the Open Championship. The Ryder Cup coming to Adair Manor. And I know I don't want you to pick a favorite child and talk too much about any particular destination, but I would like you to talk a little bit about Adair Manor, the history of it, and that event that's coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting to have the Ryder Cup back in 2027. So Adair's in County Limerick. It's a fantastic property. It's very historic. The golf course has been totally, redesigned. It's fantastic, and it really is. And I think GP McManus has his Pro-Am. Was it 2 years ago he had the last one, and I think all of the good and the great on the PGA Tour like to participate in that. I think the last one, it was like a PGA Tour event almost when you looked at the field. So very exciting, and the backdrop to that golf course, obviously Adair Manor, is very historic. So I think that, and the village of Adair is beautiful. It's very picturesque. It's very close to Shannon Airport, so it's very very accessible. So I think it's going to be a great success, and certainly in the run up to 2027, I think there's a lot of people that want to play the course as well.
Outstanding. And are there any other things that are new and different coming up for this year that, for those who have been before, it is, hey, drop in on this thing?
Yeah, well, I think, there's been a lot of investment in the golf courses. I know at Royal Portrush they're investing significantly in some redesign work on their second course, the Valley course, which I think when it's complete will mean that they'll have, 36 holes, obviously the championship links to the John Lewis course, which is where the Open Championship is played, but the Valley course its stature will be increased, so there'll be a stronger offering for visiting golfers. There's a new hotel being built in Portrush, which will open later this year, called the John Lewis Lodge. We announced yesterday a new links course in Ireland, which is being built in the southeast corner of Ireland. So it's not every day you have a new links course built. It's called Curracloe. It's in Wexford, so it's in the southeast. So it's 2 hours south of Dublin. So again, it will be a great addition to have this fantastic new links course. But it will also mean a bit more of a cluster of courses now down in the southeastern part of Ireland's ancient Eastern Ireland. So you could actually fly into Dublin. Your plane arrives early. You could go down and play Jules Glen, stay there. You could then go play the European Club. Then you'd be able to, in about 2026, be able to go to Curracloe, the new links course, and then maybe down to Rosslare. And then you could head across to the southwest or wherever else you wanted to go. But what is special, I think, about this location is, and for any movie buffs out there, the beach that. So this tract of land, Curracloe Beach, was the beach that was actually featured in Steven Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan, that epic movie.
Really?
And also Brooklyn, the movie with Saoirse Ronan was the lead in, which was filmed in 2015, I think, which was a story about emigration from Ireland to America. So it's really exciting, and it's being the designer is Fry Stracker, so Jason Stracker is involved in that, and I believe they're breaking ground in February, just next month.
Outstanding. Well, definitely you put that on the calendar.
Yes, definitely, and that will be a reason for people to come back, because people always want to try new links courses, and obviously they're hoping will be an iconic, course which will achieve a significant ranking.
We want to wrap up with, even though you got other things to do and people to see. The pro golf tour, do people talk about that? The pro golf tours and all that, and the live tour and anything? Does that come up? Does that affect your business in any way? I would expect not.
Not really. No. I don't think it does. I mean, obviously the only sort of conversation about the pro tours is really the Irish golfers on those tours.
Right.
Yeah. But no, it doesn't really affect our business.
Okay, I wouldn't think so. So that's the guys who are making millions of dollars. And sort of the last thing is, I love it that you can do things on a budget. It doesn't have to be tens of thousands of dollars to take this super memorable trip. You can do it at a variety of level of price points. So you can build in a very pricey or a very I'd say, very valued course, highly valued course, a bucket list course, but there's so many of those courses that we call hidden gems that are out there that are spectacular golf experiences. But really, I mean, you'd be shocked at how little they cost. You'll check the receipt twice just to make sure it's right.
Yeah, no, this I mean, I think it's something for everybody. I mean, I think if you look at accommodation, there's a huge variety of accommodations. So you can stay at Drummond and Ashford and Adair Manor, or you can stay in a B&B. You can take an Airbnb. You can stay in a smaller hotel, some of the Blue Book properties, or some of the independently owned. There's something for everybody there. And to your point about the golf, probably some of the best value in Irish golf right now is in the northwest, so in Donegal and Sligo. There's something for everybody. It doesn't have to be, as you say, it doesn't have to be top notch in terms of the budget. And again, I would suggest plan in advance. And like anything, if you book further in advance, you can get a deal on everything, and that applies to airfares as well. There's a lot of competition on the air routes, which I think is good for consumers too. Gotcha.
And really, this is the last one. We talked about the guys who go on the trips, and I think I'm seeing more women going on travel trips, ladies, right? So, are you seeing that also? That you have more women coming on these golf trips together, ladies trips?
Definitely, we've certainly seen a lot more women traveling to Ireland, and I think because we've seen a big investment in a lot of our 5-star luxury properties, investment in health and wellness and spas and things. There's a lot for, and I think when women go on the golf trips, the accommodation part becomes a greater consideration, and Ireland has a lot more to offer in that regard than it did maybe 10 or 15 years ago. So yes, we're seeing a lot more women, couples golf as well. That's another growth area, and I think it's also helping by the fact that we do have a couple of great Irish lady golfers out on the LPG tour now with Leona Maguire, Stephanie Meadows, and so yes, we are. Yeah, the Ladies Irish Open is going to be at Tyrone Castle again this summer. So again, there'll be great coverage of that and great backdrop with the castle. So we are trying to broaden that sort of appeal of Irish golf. I think 20 years ago, I think Irish golf was seen as links for the guys. It was hardcore, and you just. But we offer a great experience for women, and also there's fabulous championship parking courses. So there's a Dare, but there's also you can play at Drummond, but there's the K Club, which is hosting the Ryder Cup. There's also Carton House, there's Royal Belfast, there's Malone. There's lots of other courses which you can play if you don't want to get totally beaten up on the links courses.
It's an unbelievable experience. Again, I've been so fortunate to be able to have it multiple times. If you haven't, as Ferris Bueller said, okay, I highly recommend it. We really need to do that. For more information, where does everybody go?
Ireland.com/golf.
Couldn't be easier than that. Again, thank you so much for taking the time, Alison. Congratulations on everything you've done. Look forward to what you're going to do next. And whenever you have anything to talk about concerning golf in Ireland, you have a soapbox to stand on and a microphone to talk into. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Michael. Appreciate it.
Alison Metcalfe.